when we look at Aura's activity variables, there's 5 that we look at. There's daily total activity measured in calories, daily active activity also measured in calories, and that's the activity that only exists by being active, doing exercise, I presume. Total number of steps, daily active seconds, so the time in which you're doing some form of movement, and then the activity score, which is Aura proprietary metric that's a combination of those and probably more to give users an idea of how completely active that day. I guess firstly, steps, we all know what those are. Calories, we all know what they are in terms of the number of calories we eat, but in terms of the number of calories we are metabolically producing as a body, it's a measure of energy thermodynamics. The more movement you do, the more calories you burn, obviously, and that's on top of the basal rate, which is the energy it requires to keep the body just ticking over every second of the day, as it were. And so we looked into the distribution of these metrics for every single individual users, and you can see those on the figure now and produce some interesting results.
Yeah, I think kind of talking about the first 4 figures, so not the score, I think we can talk about that separately. I think the main 2 points are the fact that there's a very wide range in terms of the total number of calories burned, and also these aren't
That's
quite
me,
normal.
probably.
Yeah, that's you. Just going for a run for 50 hours.
I'm an outlier.
And then it's also the peaks around 0. And you can kind of justify this. You can say, okay, either these are individuals who aren't wearing their devices,
and it's recording for some reason and shouldn't be. But
yeah, it could be some sort of malfunction. It could be this, or it could just be people that are just doing nothing. And so these kind of the 3 options here. I think they're probably all equally likely and probably all account for these peaks. But I think, to talk about the score. So this distribution is kind of interesting, isn't it? Because we see the peaks around the 10. So we see like 60, 70, 80, these like little peaks there as well. Then we also see the really high like mode and mean. Like it's both like they're both shifted a lot higher than we would expect based on the rest of the data. So we kind of have these normal distributions. And it turns out that most people are getting activity score like in the 80s or in the 90s and whatnot. This kind of isn't what we expected, is it?
No, it's not. And I think this goes to the heart of what scores are. Physiological data, it's relatively safe to assume, although not always, that it's going to follow an almost normal distribution. Is that people are centered around the mean in the middle, as you said. The mean, mode, and median are fairly similar, with tails both ways, and it's going to be kind of skewed one way or another. The score has got not normally distributed at all, as you can see. It just goes straight up to 100, and with the majority of scores given out and where the mean is, or I should say where the mode is near 100. And so that shows that the score isn't necessarily all about mapping physiologically what's going on here. But I think that's the important thing about scores, and something we've been doing a lot of thinking about. On one hand, it is about educating the user in terms of physiologically what's going on across a number of variables in that space. But on the other hand, it's also about educating, probably inspiring and trying to create change in the individual. So it's a really interesting combination of physiological factors and the behavioural psychology of it as well.
Yeah, I think scores are first most a product, and the goal is to make the user kind of feel good and want to return to use the app and use whatever device it is. And I think that kind of justifies a lot of what we've seen.
Okay, more on scores later.